Welcome back everybody. Today I'm here to do my Walking Dead Q&A. Earlier this week on my community section on the channel, I asked you guys to leave your Walking Dead questions below so I can be answering them this weekend. I love talking about the Walking Dead with you guys, so hopefully I'm going to be doing these more often throughout the break. And then also, feel free to leave your thoughts and opinions about the questions as well. But other than that, let's begin. And the first question comes from ADog00. Actually, he asked a couple questions, so we're going to answer all of them, starting off with the first one. So the first question they asked was, what do you think about the Whispers, Beta, Lydia, and Alpha in general? Well, we only seen a little bit of them in the trailer, and I'm already loving them. Lydia's character in the trailer looks super interesting, Beta looks absolutely badass, and Alpha looks terrifying. And same thing in the comics, I love all these characters, and I think the Whispers is such a unique and cool group that's gonna add a lot to The Walking Dead, and I'm very excited for it because just that little bit we got in episode 8 with the Whisperer killing Jesus, the first Whisperer kill, like that was one of the best moments in The Walking Dead ever. So The Walking Dead I think can only go up from here based on material wise. Just hopefully they execute it well. So the next question they asked was favorite character that's still in the show except Negan and Daryl. I'm gonna have to go with Michonne, 100% without a doubt, because Michonne is, and a lot of that has to do with Denai Guerrera also, because I think she's one of the best actors in the show, and she's doing such a great job of filling in for Rick right now, because whenever she's on screen I'm interested, and that was the same feeling I got with Rick. And not only that, before Rick left too, she was so fun to watch on screen, and she's such a badass, so it's definitely gonna have to be Michonne. So that's my favorite character in the show. I want to hear from you guys though, so leave your your favorite character in the comments down below. And then one final question he asked was, why hasn't Negan found out about Rick leaving yet? I think, we don't know that. I actually think he knows, unless I missed it or something, because it's been 6 years, unless they said nobody told Negan about what happened to Rick. Unless that's what happened, I'm sure he talks to Judith a lot, so I'm sure he actually knows what happened, but we haven't got a reaction out of him yet, so we don't know just 100%, but I do think he knows about Rick leaving. The next question comes in from Martin, and he asked, what do you think about the latest 4 huge losses, Carl, Abraham, Glenn, and Rick? Will this affect the ratings more even with the Whisperers? Quick rundown on the characters. So Glenn and Abraham, I'm totally fine with those characters dying, because I actually think it was a smart move in the TV show to kill 2 characters from Negan versus 1 in the comics, because it had a much bigger impact. And I know a lot of people said Glenn shouldn't have died and the show died with Glenn. I'm not with that, because Glenn dying completely changed the show and made Maggie the character she is. So I actually think Glenn's character dying was necessary for the story, so I'm okay with that. Abraham, same thing, it's not a big deal. I actually like the way he died, because in the comics it's totally different. Carl, I'm 100% against that. Carl shouldn't have even died. I don't even think Carl was supposed to die, because something obviously happened behind the scenes, because even Chandler Riggs said he found out like an episode before he died that was the episode he was gonna get bit. So I don't even think Carl was supposed to die. Something happened behind the scenes, so that's a total huge loss for the show. Should not have happened. Rick I'm okay with, because Andrew Lincoln wants to spend time with his family. That's totally understandable, and they made it work out in a way that Rick is gonna be continuing his story with movies that I'm very interested in with this helicopter group, so I'm okay with Rick. Glenn and Abraham dying definitely affected the ratings, because there was a huge decrease starting off in the first episode of season 7, and then moving forward to present day, the ratings started declining then. Carl, same thing, because there was a huge decline in ratings versus season 8 and 9. Rick not so much, because it's still the same amount of viewers from the beginning of season 9 till now, so Rick I don't think affected the ratings that much, but I do think the Whisperers are gonna affect the ratings in a good way, because the Whisperers are, like I said before in this video, they're a totally unique and cool group. So I think anybody who left the show and sees the Whisperers, I think you're gonna be interested, and even people who don't watch the show, because I see a lot of people interested in the Whisperers, and I'm seeing a lot of positive feedback from the Whisperers. So I do think those characters leaving have affected the ratings in a bad way, minus Rick. It doesn't seem like he affected the ratings that much, but I do think the Whisperers have a good chance of putting the ratings back up. Alright, so the next question comes in from Jose, and they asked, I don't know why nobody asked a question when Jadis radio ins for the helicopter to pick up and help Rick. She clearly heard the other radio and that the bridge collapsed and they found Rick's gun, so she could have obviously told the others that she was taking Rick to get help in the helicopter, but she didn't mention nothing, so obviously means the helicopter people take prisoners, right? Well, I do think the helicopter people, I wouldn't say prisoners, because it seems like, well, there's a B class and an A class, and I think there's like people who are bit and not bit, so it's not really prisoners. Maybe experiments on these people who are bit. I wouldn't say prisoners, but Jadis definitely takes them as prisoners and makes them get bit, so in a way, yes. But I think the reason why, because you make a good point, you know, Anne could have said, we have Rick, you know, Rick is going to survive, because she had a radio and could have talked to the other people on the other side of the radio. But I think the reason she didn't is because this other community probably didn't want her to tell them about them. Because this other community, they probably told Jadis, like, you can't just go around telling everybody about our community, just people that, you know, we can trust and just people who we can experiment on or whatever's going on here. But I think that's the reason why, because that make, you know, Jadis could just easily get on the radio and be like, we have Rick, he's gonna survive, and everybody would feel better. But she probably is not allowed to do that. But maybe in the future, like in the movies or something, she could do that. But I think that's the only reason why she didn't tell them on the radio. I also forgot a question that ADog00 asked. He asked, what's your opinion on Negan now? My opinion on Negan, I'm interested in his character. I don't really care that much for Negan right now because I'm interested in the Whispers, but I'm definitely interested in his character, and my opinion right now is that he's basically the same person. He hasn't changed that much, but I made videos talking about Negan possibly helping the group out, and then my opinion is definitely going to change, because what I think is going to happen is Negan's going to help out the group with the Whispers and become a good guy. Then my opinion is going to change, but right now he's basically the same guy, so it's not that big of a deal. The next question is from James, and he asked, do you think it was right to kill Carl and Jesus? I just talked about Carl, so yeah, no, I do not think it was right to kill Carl. Total bad move from them. But Jesus, it's interesting because Jesus also had behind the scene problems. Tom Payne wanted off the show, so I guess in a way it was right to kill Jesus because the actor was unhappy, and his death was super cool, but I do think they messed up with Jesus and his character. It could have been so much more, and it was a lot of wasted potential. But if the actor wanted off the show, then I guess it was right to kill Jesus, and the way they did it was really cool, so I'm alright with it. The next question comes in from Janie, and she also asked a couple questions. So she asked, first, do you think Morgan is going to do another crossover to The Walking Dead? I do think Morgan is going to do another crossover to The Walking Dead, because if he doesn't, I'm going to be very upset about that. You know, Morgan was in the first episode of The Walking Dead, you know, what launched this entire universe now. So I don't think it's right for them to kill him in Fear the Walking Dead. I think he deserves a reunion with Rick, and Rick is alive, so I do think he will be crossing over to The Walking Dead. And she also asked, and where do you think Dwight's wife went, and do you think Dwight and her reunited? Do you think Dwight's coming back to the show? Well, Dwight's wife didn't want to live at the sanctuary anymore under Negan's rule, so she just ran away. But I do think she got caught up with a different group, and I think that group might be the Commonwealth, because I don't see her coming in with the Whispers. And the same thing with Dwight, because season 9 is done filming. If Dwight was seen on set, I'm sure that would have been, you know, exploded all over the Walking Dead fan base that Dwight is back. There is no word of Dwight returning to the show unless they hit him. But the reason I think Dwight won't be coming back in the Whisper arc is because of Dwight and Daryl's. Daryl doesn't exist in the comic. Obviously, Daryl's the more popular character, so I think they're going to be giving Dwight stuff to Daryl, and then Dwight might come back in the Commonwealth in season 10. And I do think Dwight and his wife are reunited. The only reason why she wouldn't be on the show in season 10, I think, is if the actress can't come back for whatever reason. When they see Dwight at the Commonwealth or whatever, he's probably just gonna tell them like, yeah, she didn't make it. But other than that, I'm pretty sure they're gonna reunite, because that'll be a big fail if he's been gone for like 2 seasons and, you know, they never reunited. And her last question was, what do you think Michonne is doing? We haven't really seen them this past few episodes. And yeah, that's weird how we haven't seen them in the 3 episodes that there's been a 6-year time jump. Something definitely went down throughout the 6-year time jump because they were the ones killing the saviors, going against what Rick was doing. So I think Michonne was pissed off or something, and my best guess is that they got exiled, or Michonne maybe killed some of them and they just wanted to leave the group, because Tara seemed to be pissed off at Michonne. So I think Michonne exiled them. I don't think they're all dead, that'd be ridiculous. So my best guess is that they got exiled. The next question comes in from BX Committee, and they ask, do you think Tara will stay as the leader of Hilltop, or do you think Daryl might take over as the leader there? I think Tara's gonna stay the leader because she's doing a good job, you know, keeping everything in order there. I don't think Daryl's gonna be the leader because we know Daryl does not like being a leader. He was assigned at the sanctuary and he hated it there. He said he doesn't like being there. He likes being outside doing what he's good at, and being a leader is, I guess, not what he's good at. So yeah, I think Tara's gonna continue being the leader. Alright, this next question has a pretty heavy spoiler when it comes to the comics. Like, I'm talking like a huge spoiler. So in case you don't want to know, I'm putting a time right there. Just skip to that time in the video, but I want to answer the question because he took the time to ask it, so I'm gonna answer it. But I'm telling you right now, it's a pretty big spoiler, so in case you don't want to know, skip to this time down below. So Liam asked, do you think Negan will get his turning point moment this season like he does in the comics? I hope to see him holding Alpha's head. Sorry to any The Walking Dead comic readers, but it's too awesome moment not to put on screen, and have him brought into the fold by the rest of the communities if they can sort out whatever shit went down those 6 years. And then he also added, I'm hearing that Negan will save Daryl from Beta. Any news on this? I do think Negan's gonna get that moment that you're talking about in the comics. I don't think it's gonna happen this season though. I feel like it might happen next season because Alpha's a pretty big character, and I feel like they might want to hang on to her a little longer in the show because it looks like she's gonna get introduced like next half season, like maybe not the premiere, but maybe like episode 11 or 12 or something. But I don't think it's gonna happen this season, but I do think it's gonna happen, and I really hope it does because I agree that is an awesome moment, and they definitely need to put that on screen. And yeah, I definitely think he's gonna be you know, helping the communities, because the thing you said about the Negan saving Daryl from Beta, I made a video on that because that's what I'm hoping happens. Now, I don't look at spoilers. I don't know if that was confirmed or anything on the Spoiling Dead fans or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that is gonna happen. I made a video on it if you want to go check it out. But yeah, I think Negan saving Daryl from Beta is gonna happen, and that's what's gonna kind of change Negan's character as a whole, and then everybody's gonna be like, all right, Negan is a helpful guy, you know, maybe he can stick around and help us with the Whispers because they're a pretty big threat. The next couple questions comes in from Lynette, and she asked, do you think Father Gabriel will die this season? It's odd to me that we were shocked with the Jadis fling out of nowhere, and immediately he has a new love interest. Not immediate to them, I realize it's been 6 years, but immediate to us. Why the focus on him now? Does he know something about Jadis' helicopter that Rosita may find out? I'm sorry, that's like 3 questions. Mainly, will Gabriel die soon? Don't worry, I love questions because I love talking about The Walking Dead, so keep them coming. But to answer your first question, I don't think Father Gabriel will die this season, but you're right, there is a lot of attention on him, so I don't see him making out of the Whisper arc though. I do think he will die throughout the Whisper arc somewhere. Depending on pacing, it could either happen at the end of this season or early next season. And yeah, you know, there's back-to-back relationships for Gabriel, which is a little weird. You know, first he was with after the first time jump he was with Jadis, and then he was with Rosita. So yeah, I do think he's building connections with other characters because yeah, when he dies, it's gonna be a much more impactful moment for the character. So yeah, I do think that, you know, all this focus on him means that he will die soon. And yeah, it's weird that Father Gabriel might have not told anybody about the helicopter, because I actually think he might have, but there's nothing they can do about it. And actually, they can put like 2 and 2 together if you think about it. They could be like, Daryl was looking for Rick. Daryl could have been like, yeah, I didn't find a body. Gabriel knows about the helicopter people and how Ann was trying to take Rick away. They could put 2 and 2 together and be like, maybe Rick is with Ann. But it's hard for me to believe that Gabriel didn't tell anybody about the helicopter. I think he did, and I think he might have told Eugene, because Eugene and Gabriel are the ones who are trying to, you know, expand and mess with the radios and trying to find out what's out there, because they know there's more people out there. But I think the other people just don't care because they're not gonna chase down a helicopter. You know, the slim chances of Rick being on there, you know, they're not gonna mess with that. They're doing their own thing right now in the show. We see that that there's problems with supplies. They're running out of supplies. There's a bunch of issues. So they're probably just focused on surviving versus chasing down a helicopter group. So I think Gabriel told people that they just don't care about it. But those were some really good questions, Lynette, so thank you. But the next question comes in from Story of 5, and she asked, will Henry be on a Pike? I will be very surprised if Henry ends up being on a Pike, because I think they want to keep all the young characters around, and we just got his older version. He's going to be having a relationship with Lydia. I think he's good to go. You know, I don't think you're going to kill him because he's taking Carl's storyline. That'll be ridiculous if he ends up on a Pike. So I think he's going to be good. The next question comes in from Angelica, and they asked, is Jesus really dead? Yes, Jesus is really dead. They confirmed it. Tom Payne said that he died, but Tom Payne might be coming back for flashbacks and stuff, because they are going to be messing around with flashbacks. They're in the second season, but Jesus, his character did end, his story did end there with the Whisperer stabbing him. And the last question comes in from Little Ninja, and they asked, will Maggie ever come back? Yes, Maggie, they are planning Maggie to come back in season 10. Angela Kang said that they're writing season 10 in a way that Maggie will be returning, so they have high hopes for Maggie to return. So yes, she will be coming back in season 10 most likely. And those are all the questions I got at the time of making this video, and I want to thank you guys for all the questions. I love talking about The Walking Dead, and I love the questions, and I want to hear from you guys. You know, those are a lot of questions, so in the comments down below, be sure to leave your thoughts and opinions on whatever question that you want to answer. And I would love to do these more often. If you guys enjoy them, you know, I definitely will be doing them, so look out for the community posts that I make, so you guys can leave your questions below there. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating, and for more videos like this and Walking Dead related, be sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.